Okay, so one or two things I wanted to say about extra. I wanted to say about presentations. First of all, a lot of the presentations that you have seen, listened to, and maybe made have been like a journey across Los Monegros. In other words, everything has sounded the same. There haven't been any exciting moments or moments where you've really wanted to emphasize and make something stand out. Your tone of voice has also been very monotonous because really there's been nothing to get excited about. And at the end of the presentation, the audience, are finding it very hard to remember very much at all. It all just sounded the same, and none of it sounded very inspiring. Okay. There was no very clear message, and in any case, it got lost in the monotony. Now, this is really what we're aiming for. We're aiming for something that looks and sounds like this. You can see here we've got these mountain peaks. These are the moments when you're really, really, really trying to emphasize key ideas by raising your voice, by using gestures, by slowing down, really slowing down to get the point across. And there are other moments where maybe you're not saying things which are quite so important. There, maybe you're just linking one part of your presentation to another. So this is what we're looking for. We're looking for this kind of journey, okay, in which there are some things which stand out because you want them to stand out, because you think they're important and you want the audience to remember them. And the very important things, the things you really, really want them to remember, you might decide to put here at the beginning and here at the end. If this first mountain peak here is one of your key points, maybe the key point, then you might get that point made very quickly at the beginning and then again make it at the end. Why? Because audiences are not very good about remembering what's in the middle, but do remember much better what comes at the beginning and at the end. So you need to think strategically about when you say certain things and when you repeat them. Okay. But this is key. This idea of having key moments which you illustrate both with gesture and with your voice. Okay. Now there are certain expressions that I'd like to hear you use. I'd like to hear you saying things at the beginning of your presentations like, the aim of my presentation today is to convince you that, to show you that. Or when you leave this room today, I hope that you will agree with me that blah, blah, blah. In other words, you're telling your audience how you're going to try and move them from A to B. The journey that you want them to make as a result of listening to you. Okay? Something else I'd like you to do, and this is very important, is to try and package your ideas. Students very often tell an audience a number of things without telling them first why they're going to say those three things. They start saying things, for example, about Ikai, but the audience don't know really why they're listening to these things. So there's not much motivation for them to listen. They just have to cross their fingers, cruzar los dedos, and hope that by the end of your making these 3 points, it will be clear to them why you've made them. It's much more interesting to make a statement. I don't know. Ikai is 70% of what you do at Ikai is a waste of time. And then to say, and to illustrate that point, I want to tell you about 3 things. That now gives the audience a reason to listen. They want to see if you can justify that opinion. Okay. So what you're doing is you're saying to the audience, if you come with me on this little journey over the next minute, by the end of that journey, you will believe this. Okay? That's what we want. What you don't want is to ask the audience to go on a journey with you where you're explaining 2 or 3 things when they don't really know where you're trying to take them. So it's make your aims of that particular part of your presentation clear before you start giving the evidence. Okay. Tell them why, tell them what you're going to say, and then tell them, then illustrate it. Do it that way around. Okay. Finally, and one other really, really very basic thing, because it's very mature, and it also means that you don't try to do too much in the time available to you, is to say to the audience something like, my partner and I only have 5 minutes, so obviously we can't tell you everything about X. So we've decided to focus on 3 important things. The audience is saying, thank you. You're not going to try and do too much. You're going to tell us about 3 things, and you're going to tell them well and explain them well. And if you do that, then the audience will be happy, especially if the points you've made are clearly linked to the message which was on the poster, which went all over Madrid, advertising your presentation. The message was, IKI, a wonderful experience, or IKI, largely a waste of time, whatever you want to say. The number of points you make in your presentation, however many you make, have to be clearly connected to that, okay? If you don't try and do too much in the 5 minutes, that means you can relax. That means you don't rush through your presentation, looking at your watch all the time. That means you slow down and give the audience time to take in your message. Remember, their English might not be as good as yours. They won't know about the things that you're telling them. What you're telling them is new to them. So they need time to take your message in. If you try and say too much in your 5 minute period, then you won't give them that time. And the stress which results from trying to do too much will be apparent in your voice and the way you rush through all the material without any nice mountain peaks. Everything will start to sound the same as you rush like a train across Los Monegros, instead of stopping now and again at those key moments when you really want to get across the most important ideas of your presentation. Okay, so there are a few things to think about and that I don't want you to forget. Okay, I want them to be in your minds when you're planning and practicing this presentation. Okay, and that will make it something interesting to watch and listen to, which is what we want. Bye-bye.